and you're into finals football. Now, the Blues need to take care of business. Reedy and May to get us started. And Reedy, who was so good last week, jumps over the top of May, wins it down. But Craig Peters will send the Dogs forward immediately. Billings has a hand in there. A deep entry. Howard's out the back for the Western Bulldogs. For Footscray, Darcy, Vandermeer. Good tackle there from Ben Campriali. They all jump on top of the footy inside that forward 50 for the Doggies. And we'll get an early stoppage. A little bit foggy this morning in Melbourne.
Beautiful. We love the fog. It means at some stage this afternoon it's going to be a beautiful day. Big challenge in the ruck for May up against Reedy. He was just dynamic and dominant last week. So many clearances and so many inside 50s for the big ruckman.
Both huge frames, the two rucks out there today. Nathan Howard with a chance. He slaps it back to the top of the goal square, trying to keep it alive, and then it's jammed out of the pack. Has that been touched or is it through? It's a goal, and it's a goal off the boot of Jack Billings.
Just the start the Bulldogs wanted, I think. They put some pressure on this Carlton side after coughing up the game last week against St Kilda. The last thing the Blues want is a bit of a nervous wait over the next couple of quarters.
It was a clever tap back. You'll see it just before that. It was a tap back. The ball was right on the goal line, and it was almost a clearing tap. And in the end, very dewy, very slippery at ground level with the morning fog and the dew. But Billings always has been a clean player, particularly when he was playing his best footy for the Saints. Clean, crafty, and he used all of that cleanliness and craft to kick the first goal.
25 goals, 26 this season for Jack Billings, so hitting the scoreboard with regularity at one of a couple of Dogs who's played every game this season. Gallagher gets upended as he drives Footscray forward. Baker picks it up. He whacks it deep. It might bounce well for Howard. Almost did for Vandermeer. And Logan Prout being deployed in defence today for this Carlton team. Sees it through for another rush score.
You referenced the fact, and we know what the Blues have got on the line, but it's still a really solid Dogs team. They're still really good players. They've played a lot of AFL footy. Bustling has played plenty of AFL footy this year. Baker's had some impactful games at the next level as well. So it's going to be anything but a walk in the park for these Blues. 11
listed players for the Dogs today. Jordan Boyd with the kick-in was Carlton's first disposal of the contest. And now it's sent out wide. Ison has a little fumble, able to gather it back up. Here's Charlson, Ballarat product, so we're used to mornings like this. A bit chilly and foggy overhead.
This is quite balmy for him.
It's almost sort of summer areas in that fair city. Drives it inside 50, and Hudson O'Keefe. He's had an interesting couple of weeks, big Hudson O'Keefe. He kicked 5 a fortnight ago. Last week he had one kick that was a toe poke on the goal line for a goal. And now he gets an early look from 40 out directly in front.
Yeah, this is what you need as a key forward. He could not sniff the footy last week, but to take a nice contested mark. Good body work as well, Goldie, to take that big grab and give himself a chance.
Yeah, it's good early body work, which is the key to it.
19 goals this season. Their leading goal kicker at VFL level, Hudson O'Keefe, struts in, puts his shoe through it, and salutes. Blues with their first as we go goal for goal early at Whitten Oval.
Nice, the big hawk, the real hawk. Forget about the Hawks. This is the real version, but it was good ball use, and that's the thing we've seen, Goldie, from Carlton across their two programs since we've had the change up. Is just the ability to kick the footy. I don't know what's happened, what's gone through the club, but they're a great kicking team now, and that's great body work. Sensational early body work, as you referenced, just too big and too strong for Gardner, who's an experienced player and starts his game in style.
Yeah, you can definitely see the way Carlton want to play their footy. They're number 1 for kicks in the VFL, and they started the game with 6 kicks and 2 handballs. So that uncontested mark game is what's been the most impressive thing, as you said, since Josh Fraser's taken over the whole footy club.
Unbelievable.
They're a high possession team, this Blues outfit. Some of the numbers they've been racking up in recent weeks have been video game-like. Darcy Tucker wraps up May. Hudson O'Keefe with the job on Gardner, as you mentioned, JJ, the full-back in the VFL Team of the Year last year, Ryan Gardner. Tucker trying to squeeze the kick through the traffic. Ison had a play at it. It's dragged in underneath the pack again. May found it at his bootlaces. He's perched over the top of them all. Craig Peters goes in, the Norm Goss medalist, best on field in the grand final last year. Victorious Footscray team. Interestingly, neither of the grand finalists from last year will make the finals this year in Footscray and Southport. Southport with an upset win over Coburg yesterday, despite 8 goals from Jaden Stevenson, as the Blues get another good look inside the 50, and it's O'Keefe again.
Hock, when it rains, it pours. Couldn't get near the footy last week, couldn't get away from it early in this one. It was a nice slips catch. That footy's a little bit slippery. He was able to double grab it. Don't be passing it off. You want to get too early in the contest, God.
He's got to pretend like he wanted to give it off.
Well, see,
he was never going to kick that.
Didn't even bother pretending.
Especially after last week, he thought he'd be well within his rights just to go back, and he didn't know where the footy was last week, Hudson O'Keefe. So 2 marks in their first couple of entries for the Blues. Hudson O'Keefe strikes this one beautifully. Some early morning hot ball for the Blues. And they hit the front.
Beautiful. He strikes the ball pretty well, doesn't he, for a big guy that's, you know, I guess still trying to work out whether he's going to be a permanent forward or a part-time forward who goes into the ruck a little bit. He's got the shin guard on, so clearly going to spend some time in the ruck today. But that's a beautiful looking set shot. Looks a little bit like Shannon Neal's, who at AFL level we know is a beautiful kick.
Yeah, I think he's just got to put a little bit more size on, I think, but he's almost your stereotypical forward second ruck option for the side, and he's got such good athleticism with this jumping rule and centre bounces, brings him right back into the game.
A little bit of Peter Wright about him with the ability to kick them from downtown and play that forward ruck role. There's so many teams who are playing 2 rucks because they don't really have a forward who can go into the ruck as well.
So that live ladder, that's what it means. The Blues are ahead at any stage in the game, especially at the end. They'll go into the finals. Another deep entry here. Last link in the chain was Zach Walker, mid-season draft pickup last year for the Doggies. Played tunnel ball with it to Baker. Spins, kicks, Fogarty. Local boy from Spotswood, so back in his neck of the woods this morning. Dangerous kick across goal from Baker. And it slipped through the grasp of Lucas Campriali, scooped up by Caulfield, sends it wide, 2 wide for Darcy. Lasso free kick going the way of Dane Harvey for the Blues. Comes back to Jordan Boyd, who can expect to be at about 7 scraps throughout the course of the morning.
He's a fiery customer, isn't he?
Oh, he loves it. This Jordan Boyd. Will Reinhold, who returned last weekend for Yarrawonga after being injured for the Blues against Werribee a few weeks ago. Back into this Carlton team this week. Baker picks it up on the wing for the Dogs. Handball infield, picked off by Darcy Tucker through the hands of Walker. Billings. Now they can just shovel it forward through Velpeed. Vandermeer. Sard had it, lost it. Velpeed goes back in. Clean hands for the Blues at half-back. Warburton. It's turned over again, though. Plenty of pressure on at the moment. Baker got his kick away under that pressure. And that one dribbles out of play again, not being kept in. So it'll be a free kick to the Blues at half-back to Cody Walker.
Very obvious early, Goldie, that it's a difficult ball to handle. It's very slippery.
Especially under the immense pressure that's being put on at the moment.
Dogs will get it back here. Bustling and needed to be quick and was. Turned it over, though. Tom Howard with good pressure. Corrie over the top was Young. Socket off the ground by Walker for the Dogs. Dangerously. Lucas Campriali. Little handball came from Farah. Now Boyd. Pumps it deep. Where's O'Keefe? He was in the area. It was knocked away from him, though. Footscray have got the ground level representation to try and work it out, although Ramshaw's handball win and miss. It spilled away to Howard. And Tom Howard's got an early goal. His first game for the Blues this season. And the Baggers have got 3 within 9.5 minutes.
Territory's your friend early in this one. The Blues there, both teams had mucked around with it a little bit. One too many handballs with the slippery conditions and the pressure in the game. Carlton then willing, Boyd's just willing to kick it inside 50 and say, let's get a contest and see what happens. The Dogs start to transition that ball out. Again, one too many handballs, turned over once again. That's a fine finish from Howard.
I think the Dogs have to be aware that this is a final for the Carlton club. They've come with that intensity, that pressure that comes in a final, and the Bulldogs, who are a high handball side, are just inviting that pressure at the moment.
So Tom Howard, one of the ins for Carlton. 6 changes were named earlier in the week. Only the 5, with Lewis Young being the late out. Footscray swinging a late change as well, with Bailey Young out there in the number 67 this morning. It was a very late inclusion into this team. Tucker bashes it inside forward 50. Bouncing ball through the hands of Bustlinger. Picked up by Flynn Young. He throws it on his boot. It's away to the left.
He's a talent. Young, dangerous player. Was inaccurate last week, but got a lot to like about the way he moves inside forward 50. He's got great leading patterns, really good timing, and really good aerial contest from him a little bit earlier to bring that ball to ground as well.
Luke Cleary brings it in wide. Cody Walker with a very optimistic appeal for out of bounds on the full.
Lucky he's a good footy player, not a boundary umpire.
Yes.
And a
good tackler. He was right on the spot. McNeil goes short to Billings.
It's been interesting, the Dogs early in this contest have been really keen to flick it around. At AFL level, they've gone from number 1 in disposals per game last year all the way down to number 14. So different game styles at VFL versus what they try and do at AFL.
Luke Beveridge has spoken about just searching for an answer in terms of trying to find some kind of offensive identity, because they are just really stuck in the mud on that side of the footy at the moment.
Try and find last year's, because last year was the number 1 scoring team in the comp.
Completely different profile, at least in recent weeks, for the Blues. Reinhold across half-back, clean hands. Warburton kicks down the boundary line. Gathered nicely by Farah. Off to Prout. That's not a great delivery. And easy pickings for Cleary at half-back for the Dogs.
Didn't get a lot of support from his forwards there. Both forwards were caught behind. Neither of them let up at the ball, but good positioning from those Dogs defenders, just playing the percentages, playing the angles, as good defenders do these days.
Good day for the Dogs yesterday. Their AFLW team getting on the board last night against the Gold Coast Suns. Of course, their AFL team coming up this afternoon on Fox Footy, a vital clash in the wildcard race. And it's another win and you're in situation for the Blues later today. You'll see that on Fox Footy throughout the course of the afternoon.
Oh, it'll be rocking Marvel Stadium.
Nathan Howard in ruck for the Dogs. Fogarty squeezes his kick along the boundary line. Ison with a little knock-on. Intelligent play to get it again to Jack Ison, who kicks inside 50. Terrific defence coming across was Luke Cleary to thump that out of play. That was really sharp work from the Blues, though.
Magnificent.
Tom Howard with the little knock-on.
Clever. Why has he had to wait so long?
Precisely. He's had an impact early with a goal and almost setting another one up as well. Maybe a high tackle there. Umpire says that was okay. The good thing when you play your first game, just make sure your boots are as fluoro pink as possible so people know that you're out there. Tom Howard's read the script this morning. Fogarty under pressure inside 50. Young and Warburton ran into one another. Ison extracting it. Young gives chase. Paddle out toward the boundary line. Walker there for the Dogs. Ison for the Blues. Back into dispute. Craig Peters is calm in the crisis. They're trying to exit. Walker's put it back into dispute. Cooper Craig Peters has to burrow after it again, and he's wrapped up. Corrigan and Ison in on the tackle.
We needed the sun to come out potentially an hour earlier just to dry up this surface. Once that ball hits the ground, it's very difficult when you add in the pressure from both teams. You
see all Carlton in the last 10 minutes after Footscray had it on their terms early. Dane Harvey with an impressive mark. Dangerous kick across the centre. Reeled in nicely by Charlton, who keeps the attack moving. Logan for the Blues. To half forward. Farah marks. Kicks inside 50. Attack on the ball there was strong from Moyer. Couldn't mark. Spins around on the left, sends it deep. Was touched on the way through. Decisive enough in defence, though, the Dogs. Bustlinger, Cleary. Now it's dangerous on half-back, but worked nicely in the end. Maple got it away. And they can shoot it down the line. And big Will Darcy on the Dougie Hawkins wing. Not a great delivery to half-forward. He set Young an awful task. Carlton take possession again, and here is Tom Howard, who's working both ends of the ground early.
Yeah, just prefer Carlton's game style here. This kick mark method, the Dogs have been a little bit too handball happy, inviting some pressure.
Charlton with a bit of run. Trying to create something inside forward 50. Young on the half volley, concedes some territory, gets on the left peg, kicks to a really dangerous spot, and Hudson O'Keefe will get the free kick.
Yeah, looked to hold there, no doubt about it. Well spotted by the umpire. Beautiful kick from Flynn Young. I've loved his game so far. A couple of aerial contests just to halve the footy. He's been good at ground level, and that was sharp as well. A beautiful kick to advantage, top of the goal square, to give O'Keefe a look at it.
Absolutely rocks and diamonds the last few weeks for Hudson O'Keefe. So far, he's treading a path paved with diamonds this morning. 3 in the opening term for big Hudson O'Keefe. And the Blues establish a 3-goal break.
Just such a really well-controlled game by Carlton so far. That, as you said, that kick mark, the forward handball just released it. Everything they're doing is quick but not rushed, whereas everything the Bulldogs are doing at the moment is very rushed.
Yeah, I don't love what the Dogs are trying to do by hand, particularly in D50. Just want to try and find a mark as quickly as possible, just to alleviate some pressure. I mean, just because you find a mark, it doesn't mean you have to go slow. You can still go fast, but it just gives you the ability to stop and say, well, we don't have numbers here, or we're under a bit of pressure, or Carlton have got the momentum in the game. Just haven't been able to do that thus far in the game. The Dogs still plenty of time to make the adjustment in this first term.
4 in a row for the Blues. O'Keefe now in the middle. Whacks it inside the forward 50. Coming up after it was Farah, who couldn't keep it alive, and ball up inside forward 50 for the Blues. His Footscray defence under pressure. O'Keefe reaches up, spinning through Corrigan. Kicked a couple last week, got that into space. And now it's Ashton Moyer's turn to line up.
They're well stocked, the Dogs, for key defenders. They've got Bustlinger, of course. They've got Gardner, who was in the VFL Team of the Year last year. But the problem is, aside from O'Keefe, who has been busy in the game, they've got Moyer, they've got Flynn Young, they've got Ice, and they've got medium-sized forwards. They don't necessarily have matchups for those types of players.
Quietish game last week for Ashton Moyer, but we know the skill he possesses. He just drags the set shot away to the right.
I think when the ball's coming in as cleanly as it is at the moment, as quick as it is, I don't think it matters really who your defenders are. It's going to be a tough day at the office.
12 listed players in his Carlton team this morning, 11 for the Dogs. Cleary accepts the kick in and almost turns it over straight away. Harvey had it knocked away from him by Vandermeer, and then it goes into dispute. Good tackle laid by Bailey Young, who was the laid in for the Doggies, and wants to go on with it a little bit as well. He and Jack Sammartino introducing themselves to one another.
Just the short socks revealing the double calf tattoos on our central umpire there. I don't think I've ever seen that.
The double calf for the umpire.
Yeah, with the short socks. Double tat.
Maybe that's why they want the short socks, just to show a bit of personality,
Yep.
JJ.
Yeah, a little bit of muscle definition as well.
Some of us can't lay claim to that. Craig Peters kills a kick up to half forward. There's going to be a push there. So Young will take it for Footscray. Sends it deep. Run it a jump for Howard. The Blues can mop up off the last line. Boyd, Sard, a couple of experienced heads out to the rookie in Ison, who's featured at AFL level throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, excellent work from Ison there as a forward getting up fat side, just giving those Blues defenders that release. That's what we haven't seen from the Dogs, just that forward or the winger to come up the ground and give a kick release rather than a handball release.
Big Dane Harvey, a mainstay in defence this year for the Blues. 15 games, goes out wide, finds the release valve in Reedy. Massive game last week, 29 touches, 13 clearances, 10 inside 50s for Liam Reedy. Just did what he wanted at Moorabbin last week, despite the loss for the Blues. Ison kicks up the line. Ooh, nice take by Bustlinger, and then Moyer's running to Caulfield, and that will be scrutinised through the week for Ashton Moyer, because Caulfield's left dazed. The Blues go on with it. Young sees a vacant goal square. He had the sticks at his mercy, and he pushed the kick right, and Nick Caulfield's still in a bit of trouble here.
It doesn't look good. It's simultaneous arrival at the footy, Goldie. I think that's what will allow Moyer to be okay. We'll have a few more looks at it from different angles if we can, but I would suggest that both players get there at the same time. Moyer only really makes a play on the footy.
It looks like his eyes are on the footy and not on looking to bump or to take Caulfield out. So I think it's one of those ones where contact is unavoidable.
So Caulfield's going to come off the ground, just a stoppage in play while
I think this is a good adjustment that the AFL can make across both competitions. If a player, I just think both players, I mean, Moyer's in line with the footy, doesn't deviate, doesn't really even bump. He just happens to make contact with Caulfield on his way through to gather the footy. I think we'll see this moving on. We've seen the game stopped a lot for players who have been banged up or sore but stayed on the ground. I think if the game is stopped for a player who's injured, then that player probably should go from the ground.
Yeah, you prefer to see stop for a head knock rather than someone cramping, that's for sure.
Caulfield, hopefully no concussion thing there. He had a concussion earlier in the season and a couple of years ago, so hopefully he's able to play the rest of the game out. Gardner with a decisive fist coming across the front of the pack.
It's a real shadow now, isn't it, the concussion? You know, you see a player get a head knock and you immediately, you know, think about, oh, how many is that for the player? Have they had one recently? It's something we've just got to continue to deal with, and best practice will always be the aim of the game.
So match review findings tomorrow from VFL will be interesting viewing, especially if Carlton do go on with the job and qualify for the postseason.
I'll be stunned if he gets punished for that.
Charlson kicks inside forward 50. Through the hands there of Maple. Boyd darts his kick inside the arc. Reedy brought it down in the end to Howard, who's already got one. Eyes the sticks, he's got two! Tom Howard with a really classy finish. And it's the Hock and Howard show up front for the Blues.
The Double H show. I love the deliberate fumble. It wasn't deliberate, but it aided his chances at a shot for goal, because it was going to be, Goldie, a quick handball right here. A clean take there and a handball, and it's a teammate kicking a goal. The fumble worked to his advantage, and he got the goal himself.
Yeah, the seas just parted for him when he fumbled that. I reckon you might have been accused of a couple of deliberate fumbles over your career, JJ.
I think if we can have a look at that replay again, the one we just saw, Cody Walker wasn't thrilled that he didn't get the footy, even though the goal was scored. The young fella was pretty keen to get his hands on the ball. So at this stage of his career, we'll just take that as a player who's just desperately hungry to get involved.
Might be another statistical category you've come up with throughout the course of the season, JJ. We've already got the accidental assist.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those yesterday.
The deliberate fumble. Blues back inside 50, not wasting any time whatsoever. O'Keefe let fly. Kicked it out of bounds on the full, but it's a free kick coming back to Bustlinger for the Dogs.
A little throw just to get that ball out to O'Keefe, well spotted by the umpire.
Big Jed Bustlinger.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time for him, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure of his contract status, but he's got to start to make hay as quick as possible. He's had a good run at it across this season. but it's just positionless to me. I just don't know whether he's a key defender, a third tall defender, a guy who's taller who wants to play on smalls. He just can't quite nail a position.
Reported last month by Josh Cablich that they had offered him a deal for 2027, Jed Bustlinger, so clearly some interest there to keep him around. First round pick in 2022. As reading that nicely off hands is Muratora. He's going to send it deep, a bouncing ball. Keeping it alive. Sammartino. Connor Smith it was who tumbled it toward goal. Walker extends and can't pull that one in, but did get a hand on it, so it won't be a last touch free.
Just having a frustrating start to the game, the young fella. Only the one disposal. He was so good last week. 29 touches. Barely fumbled the footy. He's had a couple of fumbles early in the game and just that kick missed him. So sometimes the ball doesn't want to find you.
The first 2 inside 50s of the game, the Dogs. Only 4 for the quarter to Carlton's 14. So it has been played primarily in the Blues front half, and the scoreboard showing that. Reedy and Howard. Nathan Howard coming across the front of Liam Reedy, and Howard gives away the free kick. 4th game of the season for young Nathan Howard. Liam Reedy, the first season in blue. Whacks it down the wing. Presenting up is O'Keefe. Can't keep it alive. Is there a toe poke on that? It might have been just as the ball had gone out of play in front of the benches. Of course, this venue to be used for AFLW throughout the course of the season for the Western Bulldogs. So you'll see plenty more footy here at Mission Whitten Oval in coming weeks on Fox Footy.
Yeah, it's a great venue. Covered a pre-season game there between the Dogs and Hawks, and it's a beautiful setup.
Connor Smith accepts the hand pass from Maple. Sends it to half forward. Darcy jabs it inside the 50. And the skipper in Orgle. And line them up and try and get a much-needed goal for the Doggies. Their first 2 scores within the opening 2 minutes of the game. They led by 7 points. It's been all Carlton since then, with 5-3 unanswered. And the skipper struts in, lines up, and flushes the right-hand goalpost.
It's good work from Darcy, though. The quick feet. I mean, the presentation was fairly elementary, but I loved, at his size, his ability to swing his feet around. There's a familiar face.
Nick McGuan. Watching his young bloke Tom out there this morning.
He's got the Carlton jacket on as well, I think. Upset Pies fans a second time in his life.
Yep, I actually saw Tom McGuan touring Carlton late last year as part of his draft process. Ultimately not selected in his top age year. Playing his local footy under Dad at Keilor.
140-point winners yesterday.
Just 140?
Yeah, 200. I think it was 206 they scored, 204 they scored yesterday.
He has been a great thing for local footy, Mick McGuan, over the years.
Needs a pay rise.
He's coached a lot of very, very handy teams. Very astute footy brain. All tossed back in. Reedy and Nathan Howard in ruck. Smashed out of there by Sammartino, and it'll stay in Blues' hands as O'Keefe not paid the mark and then caught holding the ball. He was a bit confused about all of that, Big Hudson. Luke Cleary was awake to it all. Shoots it across the top of the 50. Finds Maple. Maple off to Bustlinger, who jets one into the forward pocket. And stepping through, Orgle put boot to ball across the face. Certainly not the intended contact for Jed Bustlinger, that one. He was strutting through the 50, just galloping through, thinking, I'll go long here and just about kick it into our practice facility, Goldie, and put it off his toe and hit the stinger.
And I don't think Orgle was trying from 7 metres out to find a stoppage either.
Possibly not. Kicking it directly across the face of goal. Reedy down decisively. Logan in defence for the Blues. That's a strong tackle on Hollins. And a legal tackle by Laird Ramshaw. So the Blues well and truly on top of this game early. They need to win to play finals in this VFL season. Same equation. The men's team faces today a little bit easier for the senior team. A win will assure them of a position in the wild card as well at AFL level against the Doggies later on today on Fox Footy. It's a little bit more cutthroat for the Blues this morning because a loss means they will miss out. Again, Orgel is dragged to the turf.
Plenty of upside in the Blues as well, despite this fast start. Sards only had the one, with reference Cody Walker only one disposal and Fogarty just the two. So some experienced and talented players have not yet really had a big impact for the Blues.
That other critical game in the finals race as well, Tasmania by GWS over them by 33 points at half-time. So it's an important result. Blues play on an advantage. Walker gave it away to Tucker, went looking for Hollands by hand. Lucas Campriali picks it up. His kick tumbles out toward goal and is marked by Bustlinger on the last line. Gallagher, Maple. Measured the kick nicely for Vandermeer. So a little bit of urgency for the Dogs closing in on quarter time. Darcy had it slip through his hands at half forward. Back into dispute. Good tackle, Sammartino. And umpire coming in, it was just a little bit slow to blow the whistle and say mine. Howard reaches over the back of Reedy. And again, it's locked up. Blues won this corresponding matchup by 20 back in round 8. Footscray won the previous 3 to that in the head-to-head between these two teams. All-important result for Carlton today. Craig Peters jabs it inside the 50. Ball on the deck, and they will have the numbers. They will have the finish. And Ramshaw was up to the task, rolls it through, and they get a late one in this opening term.
A really important goal there for Footscray and also for Coburg as well, just to give him keep him in touch, get a little bit of confidence, keep a little bit of confidence going into the second quarter, because this game was on the teetering on the verge of getting away from them, so it just keeps them in touch.
So Coburg sitting inside the 10 at the moment, but if either GWS or Carlton lose, they won't play finals. Do you reckon they're at the post office on Sydney Road watching this one, Goldie?
Absolutely watching this all together, I would imagine, and I think that they might be getting the beers on ice already.
Yes. Well, for their sake, hopefully Footscray can do the business for them.
You never know.
Frankston will be a little bit less nervous at the moment, but not by a great deal. To be fair, 2 games still to come as well. North Melbourne, Geelong, Box Hill and Casey. Geelong on top of the table. Box Hill sat 3rd coming into today. Tassie own that spot at the moment by virtue of their lead over GWS at half-time. So plenty to play for on this final day of the VFL season. Emerging through the traffic impressively is Logan. Spirals a kick inside the forward 50. Walker rose against Bustlinger. Ison to his great mate Cody Walker. Walker now back. The Blues have time, but time will beat them. Better see collide with Ashton Moyer in that opening term. Hopefully there's nothing untoward there that lingers throughout the day for him, but he was being assessed, as Drew said. Second term underway. May and Reedy. It's Craig Peters who kicks the Dogs inside 50. Sard with a really intelligent little toe poke to keep it away from Vandermeer. Orgel kept it moving for the Dogs. And then a strong tackle laid by Sammartino on Jack Billings. And the ball locked up inside forward 50 for Footscray. Important
tackle from Sammartino. He was the one, I couldn't quite see whether he was the one who gave that handball. They were kicking that ball in the first quarter.
And there's some high contact there on Ben Campriali, and Jack Billings will earn the free, having kicked the very first of the game in the first term within a minute. He's got a chance to do the same here in the second.
Does feel a bit like deja vu. The Dogs, only one of their 2 centre clearances in the first quarter came the first 2 centre bounces, and same here again.
Yep, they did not score. So Carlton with 3 goals from turnover in that opening term. The Blues did not register a point from a turnover. Their entire score coming from stoppage. Jack Billings with a chance to kick their third here, get his second of the morning. He was not missing that. 2 for Billings, and the Dogs get the first of the second term.
So vital. The importance, we saw it yesterday between the Kangaroos and Geelong. The ability to score from centre bounce is there for the taking. And the Dogs did it in the first quarter, and they start the second quarter in the same fashion. There was a contribution from Carlton. That handball was very much errant and probably should have been a kick release rather than a handball, which invited more pressure, and Billings was able to win himself a free kick.
26-26 on the season now for Jack Billings. Let's get an update on Nick Caulfield. Drew.
Joel, unfortunately, Nick Caulfield's been ruled out for the rest of the game with concussion, so I went through the protocols and the testing sort of late in that first quarter and through the quarter break. So third concussion in around 18 months now for Nick Caulfield, unfortunately.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. That's a concern, so fingers crossed for Nick Caulfield's second this year. Suffered one against Sydney earlier in the season. Ben Campriali inside forward 50 for the Blues. Nice pick up. Hollands tight to the boundary line. Almost there for Farah, who's been a prominent goal kicker for them this season. Couldn't squeeze that one home. 18 goals in his 9 games, Liam Farah.
It's good work at ground level from O'Keefe. The ground ball gather and handball.
What a different Sunday at the footy he's had compared to last week.
7 days is a long time in footy.
Chalk and cheese for Hudson. Jordan Boyd reaching over the top, bashing it back the Blues' way. Picked up by Billings. Stepping through the traffic there was Cody Bramble, brother of Lockie, who's on the Bulldogs senior list. Made his VFL debut last week, the Sunbury product. May. Now they go into ball control mode through Velpeed. Orgel. Back to Fred Velpeed. Nice delivery to half forward. Will Darcy stabs it to the edge of the 50. Opened the door for Hollands. He knew what was required in that moment. Oh, some sharp work from Campriali there to catch that. Was kicked just about at his head. Young goes inside forward 50 for the Blues. Running back to goal is Fogarty. He tapped it out in front of himself, but it had a bit too much juice on it for him to collect it.
Better to be lucky than good. Sometimes that ball was not intended for Campriali, and if it had have got to its intended target, it would have been a 50-50 footy.
It's Peter Dean, Blues legend. Well, Harry doing great things for the Blues senior team this season. What a revelation he's been at AFL level for Carlton. Jacob Wiedering back into their senior team today as well to give him some support. 3rd pick at the draft last year.
Been interesting integration, Wiedering back into that group, because they're playing with so much spirit and energy and enthusiasm. Sort of plays within himself in that regard, so that'll be interesting.
Terrific mark. Going back with the flight. In fact, it's Smith who's taken the mark. That's such a good effort. Into the traffic that was coming the other way. Big Caleb May sticks the Dukes up. Had the size advantage in that pack. Darcy at right half forward again. Awkward kick on the left boot. Not a lot of talk between Harvey and Sard, and the Dogs will be the beneficiary. Scooped up by Orgel, and Billings has got a chance for a 3rd.
Entirely sure how that wasn't a free kick to Sard for having Vandermeer jump and climb all over his back, but in the end they got lucky because the Blues should have been able to take the intercept mark there.
So Jack Billings has had a very busy morning. Looking for goal number 3. Can't get the requisite curl on it. And it floats across the face and out of bounds. Blues can start the chain again. 10 marks to none in his second term. So finally some control for the Blues with ball in hand.
They're all in their back half, deep in defence though. The Dogs have made a really good adjustment. We're only 6 minutes in. These are the kicks that the Blues were able to take and make in the first quarter. These forward, short, uncontested marks. I don't think the Dogs will be too upset if they're sideways like that one.
Oh, Lucas Campriali's kick for Boyd was dangerous. Picked off by McNeil. On to Vandermeer, who strolls into the open goal. And the Bulldogs ready to feast on the mistake from the Blues.
It's been a super start to this quarter by pretty much all the Bulldogs. Caleb May's dominating the ruck. They're looking dangerous. They're controlling the footy. This is how I think you heard the coaches at quarter time, so they want a bit more control in the game, and it's exactly what we're seeing.
Just a gift, I think. Boyd contributed to that turnover as much as Campriali did. Clearly, the kick was a little bit too high, but Boyd charged toward the footy and ran under it as much as the kick was over his head. So you never want to gift goals to the opposition. They're hard enough to score as it is, let alone when you're going to give one straight back to the Dogs and all of a sudden they're back in the game.
Indeed, Carlton still in possession of a wildcard spot on the live ladder that we saw last week in that last quarter. They slipped from 6th to 11th in the space of 30 minutes of footy. And here come Footscray again. And guess who it is again? Jack Billings. Involved in everything for Footscray.
I hope those drinks stayed unopened on Sydney Road, because all of a sudden we've got a ball game.
I think they'll put in ice on the tables, and now they've been moved back to behind the bar.
They may have had a beverage of one kind and then a water next to it. The Coburg players at the moment are reaching for the water. From right on the 50, Billings sends it on its way. It won't quite have the carry. It's knocked through for a minor score.
It would be a horrible watch, though, if you're a Coburg player right now. It's just a horror. It's playing with your emotions, this game.
Hopefully we can bring them some kind of joy throughout the morning on Fox Footy. Hopefully it's not too horrible a watch this morning with us, Goldie. Saad darts in from fullback. Logan Prout kicks a worm burner outside the defensive 50, made it awfully difficult for Reedy. Spinning through was Logan, who flicked it out in a flash to Ollie Hollins. That was impressive from Taj Logan.
Indeed. This is that control and that outlet mark you see. It's so important. Back to a 50-50 contest here, though.
Again, Logan fought for it. It was McNeil who came away with it on that occasion. Bramble got the handball away, then it's knocked back into dispute. Saad. Logan deserves to be on the end of something creative inside 50. That he is. And Ryder Corrigan marks. He looked like he was looking for an offload option. He's going to go back, having kicked 2 last week, and have a set shot for the Blues first of the second term.
Decent old kick inside 50 between 3 or 4 Dogs. Magnificent. That's why they call it the money kick. That kick was absolutely dead on the money.
Big part of that whole passage of play, Taj Logan. And he was the man who delivered it to Corrigan. From inside 50, it's a wobbly delivery. Never looked online.
Saad starting to work his way into the game. Only had a couple in the first term, up to 6 in the game. Not sure we've seen Ison back yet or not. He just had a finger-thumb issue right on that quarter-time siren. So we'll await to see what his status is.
Dogs moving it swiftly here. Ramshaw, who kicked a goal in that opening term, goes inside the forward 50, and Walker can't end up on the end of that one. Just a score update from that GWS Tassie game. It's Tassie by 40 points, so looks like the Giants will miss the wildcard finals, and Tassie with a win will occupy 3rd spot. Box Hill still to play later this afternoon, but with a win, Tassie can't finish any lower than 4th in their first season back in the VFL, which would be a good result for Jeremy Weberly's men.
And that would guarantee Frankston their spot as well.
Correct, yep. So the Bears will very much stay on ice down by the bay. Boyd whacks it out of there. O'Keefe has been terrific in the early going. Tucker, Warburton, fast hands from the Blues. Fogarty, Tucker, Warburton, inside 50, turned it over. And a good intercept mark is taken by Gardner.
Just needed some width on that play. One of those handballs needed just to have a bit of width. Maybe a handball at a block wouldn't go astray either.
Logan stands in the road again of Orgel. Kick just dipped on Daniel Orgel. Taj Logan in the right spot.
O'Keefe, top of the goal square. He's still a one-on-one if he can get it fat side of the ground. Fancies his chances from here.
You can see Ryan Gardner just sitting off a little bit in that hole as well. Logan is going to dart out to the right. The kick's a copter. Had some decent carry, but Jed Buslinger takes the mark.
Don't like it. Don't like it. I mean, he's
your limitations.
He's outside 50. He's had to really arc, clearly, to try and get the journey, and the ball lands a metre out.
It's not a great look in the end. They almost win it back to the Blues, and
even if the Bulldogs defenders are doing a really good job of coming off their man and making it look hard, just put it top of the square and create a contest.
Exactly. Put them under some pressure when your big key forward's already kicked 3 goals. Give him a chance.
Yeah, the one thing you can't allow there is an uncontested mark, which is what the Dogs got. Sard in the centre of the ground, goes up. Billings had a hand in to bring it to the turf. Good tackle inside forward 50 from Lockie Fogarty. Sard up to 7 disposals. Bulk of those have come here in this second term. Only the 2 goal kickers for the Blues in Howard and O'Keefe. Logan, this time he does centre the kick up on the left boot. Nice knock on by Ramshaw. Cleary bangs it out of there, bounces awkwardly for Prout. Billings taps it out toward the boundary line, and that was touched on the way through. Lucas Campriali doesn't particularly agree with that.
I think Billings tried to handball it to himself, but fortunately it was a knocked down handball, so we'll have a throw in, which I think should be the rule across the board when it's indiscriminate next year. Just throw it in.
Lucas Campriali throws it on the boot to half forward. Ison back out there in battle with Cleary. Again, the ball is out for a boundary throw in.
That's a good job, Ison, of just halving contests and clever with his body work and his positioning. He's got a lot of athletic talent and football talent to work with over the next couple of years to turn him into a really talented player.
He made a real difference to that Carlton side when he first came into the AFL side. It was one of the first moves that Josh Fraser made, and it made a real difference to them.
Yeah, we saw him, I reckon, way back on Good Friday, I think it was.
Yeah,
Joel,
was that when they smashed
at Arden Street?
Yes, we saw him in Arden Street, then they smashed Casey, and that was the game that really put his name up in lights.
Yep.
122-point win. I think he kicked 3 or 4. Look at Charleston just stepped through the traffic. Harry Charleston, if you don't mind. That is some kind of finish. Just his 2nd goal of the season. And it was done with serious panache.
Indeed. What a finish. Just cutting through the traffic there. He picked that footy up on the run. He's done a couple of really nice things in this game. His numbers don't jump off the page. Only half a dozen disposals, but he hits that at pace. Steps back inside McNeil, and the finish is pure.
And the boys like that too. They got up and about. Hudson O'Keefe, arms in the goal square, Ray sprinting to his teammate.
It's a similar contest, isn't it? Q1, first 5 minutes was all Dogs, and then the Blues took over. They haven't quite taken over to the same extent, just their first goal of the quarter, but certainly the last 5 or 6 minutes of footy has been played in there, forward 50.
Blues by 14 points. Again, if you've just joined us, a win for Carlton. They will play finals. A loss, they'll be on the outside looking in after this final day of the home and away season in the Smithies VFL. 2 games to come. North Melbourne, Geelong, Box Hill, Casey. Geelong on top. Box Hill sat 3rd coming into this round. GWS and Tassie in action at the moment. Tassie with a decisive lead in the 3rd quarter of that game. San Martino reading that nicely in flight. Able to intercept.
Nice, strong, contested mark in a one-on-one situation. They're so valuable, those marks. Just relieve so much pressure and allow you to pick up so much more field position.
Liam Farrah, Diamond Creek product. Kicks to half forward. All the numbers there with the Bulldogs. Bramble pushed out toward the boundary line and can't keep it in. Good stories. Young Cody Bramble had a knee injury last year that kept him out of a lot of footy. Worked his way back at the start of this season. Offered a mid-year spot with Footscray at VFL level and getting his opportunity late in the season to don the red, white and blue. Presented with the jumper by his brother Lockie last week, so very good stuff for young Cody. Blues back in possession. Logan's been good in the second term. A little bit of fancy stuff from Reinhold to duck and weave through a couple of tackles. Holland's off the top of his foot, up and down the mine shaft. Baker. Swift work from Craig Peters, who's been a little quieter in this second term after a busy start to the game, and then Cody Walker gets driven into the turf by Orgel. Blues will take the advantage, kick to half forward, couldn't be trapped by Howard. Ison was there with plenty of time. Lucas Camporeale slips catch from Prout. Boyd comes cruising past. Gives it a good whack. Gets it really deep. Gets it all the way almost on. Will roll through. I don't think anyone touched that. That's a goal. And Jordan Boyd got more than he bargained for there.
Well, I'm not sure how it wasn't touched. It got the initial skid, but clearly the surface is beginning to dry up. Once again, Boyd's got the double jumper on. And this footy, it tries to stop, and then it evades everyone and just gets there.
It's an amazing effort to not be able to touch that.
It's almost more impressive that it wasn't touched.
He loves the double jumper. You'd think in the morning sunshine he'll get a little bit warm, but it's his go-to. He was rocking it last week at Moorabbin. A little bit more understandable. It was howling with wind last week and a bit of rain, but almost makes you want to put the boots on given the conditions this morning at Mission Whitten Oval.
Beautiful sunshine at the moment. Hudson O'Keefe getting up highest in ruck. The Blues have established a 20-point break in the game. Ryder Corrigan chased it toward the boundary line. Cleary under pressure, got the kick away to Baker. Good for the Dogs, 13th disposal coming up for Oscar Baker, who just gives Jordan Boyd a bit of a shove. Not surprised to see either of them involved in a little bit of a stoush. Baker puts his shoe through it. Walker at the back of the pack. Vandermeer dragged down by Prout. And then Reinhold came in to help him out.
Abuse. He's had a little bit too much to say there. Latham never been afraid to show his emotions and a little bit of energy, but he was just a little bit too emotive there, perhaps with his nouns.
One of the fastest haircuts in football, Latham Vandermeer. He gave away the free kick there, and the Blues now through Farrah. Just in front of the wing. Plenty of space for Lucas Camporeale, who just drifted down. Offloads, Reinhold. Kicks to full forward. Walker was there, and Bramble rushes it through.
Just a little bit too deep, that entry. Just needed to either kick it skinny into the pocket or a little bit higher and to the fat side of goal, just so that that footy, even if it wasn't marked, was more dangerous at ground level. Still Cody Walker, just the 3, so drop off in what he was able to do last week, but that's all part of the game, all part of learning.
He managed the highs and the lows. Be a big part of Cody Walker's journey in the next little while. Saad hooks it inventively over his shoulder. There's a free kick in that contest. There is Cody Walker. Hasn't seen a lot of the footy in his direction thus far. Blues haven't found a way to use him like they did last week. Orgel looking to flick it up for Darcy. And that one was touched on the way out. So no lasso this time from right on halfway. In front of the beautiful new grandstand facilities here at Mission Whitten Oval. He plays for a couple of seasons now. Great view back toward the city. What is a clearing Melbourne morning. Harvey Gallagher pulled off his kick. The Sandhurst product. Walker fights for it. Gallagher gives chase. Over the top there was Darcy Tucker.
I think that's the hard role of playing on the wing, is that some weeks you get given the ball a lot, other weeks it just doesn't quite find your side of the ground.
Sharp work at the stoppage from Warburton. Tucker. Charleston's been excellent. Lucas Campriali, who has been used plenty on the wing, 14 disposals for him in this first half.
Yeah, they need to swap wings at half-time.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder whether Cody might go in and just grab the whiteboard and see if he can shift the magnets and no one notices.
Yeah, I don't think Lucas will be as keen to oblige.
No, that Gordon Street side is paying dividends.
Might be a paper, scissors, rock moment for him.
Vandermeer lays a good bump. Footy ricochets back in his direction. Darcy trying to find an outlet. Dane Harvey back the other way. Scoop from Vandermeer was good.
Looked a scoop or a throw.
Gallagher inside 50 to Walker.
It certainly looked a little bit like a maybe, let's call it a shovel or a paddle.
Did you see the Steely Green one yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
That was like a volleyball set.
Players can get away with a little bit. It happens so quickly. I do understand why umpires miss them from time to time, but really important set shot here for Zach Walker. Hasn't had an impact in the game as yet, but the Dogs need this one. It's been a Carlton-dominated last 10 to 15 minutes of this second term.
Walker on the runway. Strikes it nicely. Sticks that one through. Does Zach Walker. Hasn't been a big goal kicker throughout the course of the season. Just the 3 coming into today. Gets an important one there.
So let's have a look at this little... Yeah, that's a throw for mine. I'm happy to suggest that that's a throw.
Yep.
So what it definitely is not is a handball.
Yes.
So how you want to describe it from there, I'm not sure, but it's definitely not a handball.
Which is probably enough for a free kick, I imagine. The umpire doesn't necessarily have to say what exactly it was, but if it wasn't a handball, it should be a free kick.
Not a handball. I'm not calling it a throw, but it was not a handball.
Bulldogs beneficiaries of a little bit of leniency there, perhaps. Reedy out of the middle.
Coburg boys reckon it was a clean handball.
Yes, yeah, very happy with it. The Coburg lads. They'll be shouting Latham Vandermeer maybe if things go their way. Ben Campriali through the traffic, throws it on the boot. Deep entry, Moyer's up there. Can't get a hand on it. 4 disposals for Ashton Moyer so far, the fewest of any of their listed players out there today for the Blues. Lockie McNeil's a little bit sore nearing half-time. So inside 50 for Carlton. Deep into this second term. They need to win to play finals, the Blues. A loss, they will miss out. GWS are already headed that way with the result so far this morning. And look at the dash from the Dogs off half-back. Gallagher with a couple of bounces. One worked, one didn't. Finds himself in trouble. Flicks it back to Bramble. Needed some support. Then towing the boundary line was Bramble. And he crossed the chalk before he pumped that one inside the 50.
That's good scramble defence there from Carlton, because the Dogs look like they might have been away.
But I felt like that Gallagher's second bounce was a bit unnecessary. It was very quickly after the first one, so I reckon that's probably cost him there.
It's got to be a good feeling, though, having a couple of bounces, doesn't it, running down the wing?
It's not something I've ever experienced in my life, to be honest, JJ. So I'll take your word for it.
I couldn't tell you.
Baker toward the boundary line. No Adam Sards, you two. That's for sure. Bounces as soon as he gets it, just about. Sammartino punches it out toward the boundary line.
I think Goldie might be being modest. I would suggest he's taken the most running bounces for a ruckman since Dean Cox.
Okay.
Have you got that in your notebook?
Well, normally I'd at least be able to have a look, but the wonderful website is out of action.
Still down, is it?
AFL table's no good, which is...
I was wondering why you were sweating so much.
The entire industry is on its knees. My particular world's been just turned upside down, JJ.
What did you do all night last night?
Oh, no. Slept for once.
Oh, that's a real setback.
Yeah. It's no good.
Can we get the techs on Sunday rates to fix the website?
That's why Joel's asking you to say a bit more today, just because he's really running low on stats.
Exactly.
But I'm going to lay claim to that. Anyone who's at home watching, let us know. Get on the socials, because I reckon Goldie took the most running bounces for any ruckman since Dean Cox.
I'd be very surprised if that was the case.
Well, there's a lot of ruckmen who would have none. Did you have a bounce in your career?
Yes, I definitely had a couple.
Well, that takes out
many.
75% of the other rucks.
Yes. Max Gawn is in that club, as we know. Ball up, free kick. It is going the way of the Blues. Drew, have you got an update for us here, Druza?
Well, my world was also thrown into chaos when AFL tables went down earlier in the week, but it is back.
It's back.
By my calculations, 5 running bounces for Todd Goldstein throughout his career.
Nice.
I'm just scrolling across to the most important stat for Goldie, and that is 10,608 hit-outs.
Wow.
Just the 10,000.
That's my screensaver on my phone.
10,000.
That's wonderful that AFL tables is back. It was real sort of flags at half-mast stuff before that, let's be honest. Didn't know how the industry was going to survive.
Uh-oh.
That's a dangerous kick. Vandermeer, the target of it, from Fred Velpeed, and now they close this Carlton defence, and Logan was a little overzealous.
He was. He sensed the opportunity, just couldn't get low enough in the tackle. Bramble just might have lowered his body height, but it was definitely a free kick. It's potentially not a mark, but anyway, we'll pay it because it's in the back pocket, and it's easier than calling play on.
7 metres. Gardner to Buslinger. Pumps it out wide. Reedy brings it down to the front of the pack, and it's escorted across, and maybe some high contact there applied by Ollie Hollands, and that'll be downfield.
Don't make one mistake too.
Yeah, that's just a frustration one, and then Lockie McNeil's come in for Liam Reedy. That's a bold strategy.
Lockie McNeil must be able to push 200 on the bench.
Liam Reedy went down very, very quickly there.
A bit of supermaning from Big Reeds.
Inboard now, the Blues work it to Reinhold. He's going to use a little bit of fancy footwork. Jabs it inside the forward 50. Bramble can cut it off. How many bounces do you reckon you had in your career, JJ, if you had to hazard a guess?
So you can't...
That's a confident man now that AFL tables is back up.
You look silly if you go a bit over the top here, so I'm going to be conservative and say 8.
8? You'd almost have to multiply it by 5, they tell me. 37 is what you ended up with. There might have been a few accidentals in there. I don't know whether that's a statistical category.
They counted a few fumbles.
Yeah, a few deliberate fumbles might have counted as bounces.
Someone's hit the wrong button in champion data, I think.
Dogs in possession, looking for a late one. Harvey under duress. Flynn Young providing defensive support. Reinhold navigated the traffic nicely. Charleston's been terrific for the Blues, and they do get to half-time unscathed. A 15-point lead after they led by 19 at half-time. The Dogs got it back to 7 in that term. Carl, they will finish top 4. And so those sitting at the post office in Coburg colours, potentially a little bit nervous. And Frankston look like they will make the finals if things shape out the way that they are trending at the moment. Blues by 15 points as we begin the second half. Ollie Hollands picks up where he left off in the first half. Flynn Young fights for the footy, and it's a really neat bit of delivery. Out wide, it's marked by Fogarty.
I'm going to have to ask this. Is the post office code for something, or is it a pub? Or?
It's a pub on Sydney Road. Yep, just down the road from from the Coburg ground.
You haven't spent much time in that neck of the woods,
Never
JJ?
It was the only one I could think of up there. Fogarty drags a kick. It's low and offline. They may well not be there. It's just the analogy that we're reaching for this morning. No doubt they will be keeping a close eye on the outcome, though, Coburg, because they entered the day in 10th place. It is Tassie by 31 points halfway through the last quarter against the Giants as well. So the Giants look like they will miss out on the finals, and Tassie will finish top 4 with Box Hill still to play this afternoon to determine whether they finish 3rd or 4th. Geelong will finish top of the table, and that will not change, even though they've got the Kangaroos a little bit later today. Darcy spins out of one tackle, back into another, and then out of that same tackle. Turned it over, though, by hand. Tucker, Harvey, Hollins, down low. He spent it before he had it. Then Campriali's kick across the centre was dodgy. Charlton made it work. He's been excellent for the Blues. And it's an expansive kick out wide. Logan. Infield now to Walker. Drives it really deep. Hudson O'Keefe had 2 to beat. Spills to Fogarty. Shows them a clean pair of heels in the pocket. Jabs it back in field, not the distance to Hollins. Now to Walker. Slides through the traffic. Got it to Ison. Ison across the face of goal. And that one is marked in defence by Laird Ramshaw.
Let's see what the Dogs do here. So handball happy again, which just invites this pressure. He's going to be looking to use that ball by foot.
It's played deliberate.
Oh, hello.
Because it wasn't a kick and it just punched out.
I generally, when I disagree with the call, Joel, I know it's not great for TV, I just go silent. That's the way of
yes.
me not being critical of an umpire. I just don't say anything.
Noted.
Because, you know the old adage, if you got nothing nice to say?
Yep.
So
I don't agree with the decision, but I've seen that paid a number of times over the last 18 months.
Bogle back to Bustlinger.
Oh.
Across the face of goal. My tactic is just to move on. JJ, that's just to focus back on the footy. Just move away from the issue at hand. Cleary off half back, made it awkward there for Ramshaw. Charlton was clean. Logan, Ison flipped it over his head. Terrific creative play from Jack Ison. Now Walker stabs it to the pocket. O'Keefe sprawls there, but didn't get there in time.
Didn't mind the option from Walker. Probably just prefer to take Moyer on the short little hit up. It's the easier one. It's going to be a more difficult shot at goal for Moyer, but so much easier a kick. Just that little lane kick, 15, 20 metres to a leading target.
Already 3 disposals for Cody in this term. So many eyes on him to see exactly how his footy's progressing as he heads into draft season. Craig Peters gets the Dogs out of trouble. Gardner accepts the hand pass, kicks down the line. Did he keep it alive? He did. And Will Darcy, as we saw brother Sam out there at the pre-game huddle, of course, rehabbing his ACL injury. Darcy to Billings. No mark for Walker. He spills it under the pressure of Charlton. Lucas Campriali exits the 50. And it's a good mark taken by Dane Harvey.
I love Darcy's quick feet when he gets the ball in his hands. He's been really neat by foot 3 or 4 different times today. Hasn't been able to get inside 50 and hit the scoreboard as much as he would have liked, but in terms of distributing the footy, he's got really fast feet for such a tall young man.
True rookie, Will Darcy, taken late in the draft last year, of course, the son of Luke. So, storied Bulldogs lineage. Craig Peters, the Norm Goss medalist from last season, drives his kick to the top of the 50. Ramshaw was set a task. He had a couple of Blues to contend with. Prout, Sammartino turns it over to Cleary, who wants to take the game forward. Does so by foot, edge of the 50. Skittle through the hands of Smith. And Sammartino collects, and he's off with a running bounce. It's Todd Goldstein style as he kicks up toward half forward. Orgel stands in the road.
It's the turnover game at the moment. Which team have one again here, Nelly? Which team's going to take advantage of these turnovers?
Gallagher dashes away. Orgel's hand pass. turnover. Sard, Reedy, back to Sard. Now Fogarty. Just calm things down for the Blues momentarily.
Oh,
Lucas
boy.
Cambriale, that's a horrible kick. He just shanked it off the instep. A little bit of feedback from the stands as well.
Yeah, I think we're always at that point where can these sides go back into the rooms, come back out and just start the half all over again.
Two young groups, though, isn't it? Just, I mean, Cambriale, he sees a target. I mean, when it's been so many turnovers, he was the one that got the uncontested mark. Let's just take a second or two, let the formation reset, let some players get ahead. Instead, he thinks, well, I can quickly see one. If I hit that, then we can go. Yeah, make a skill error and you give the ball back.
Baker, here is Darcy again.
6 marks for Darcy, presents beautifully at the footy for a big guy.
Off to May. May with a beautiful touch kick into the pocket for Billings. That's a deft bit of work from the big fella.
Yeah, nice entry. Billings suited here. I mean, the snap's almost beyond most players from here. He'd be almost better off running around and playing on and arcing with a big drop punt rather than snap. You have to absolutely flush the footy when you want to go around the corner from this type of distance.
He certainly disagrees with you on that one, though.
He does. And I was right.
Great pass.
Oh, it was a pass.
Great pass, just like he drew it up. And the mark is taken. Muratore was in the right spot.
Our first accidental assist for the game.
Yes.
Yes. They've had a deliberate fumble and now an accidental assist. The job's with Luca to stick it through, which he does. And the Dogs, again, get the first goal of the term. They cut the lead back to 10.
First disposal in the game for him. Played some limited game time, so no real issues there, but just far too far out to be snapping the footy. I mean,
But they weren't awake to it.
No, yes. There was some issues with the Blues defenders there. They should have been awake to the fact that so often there's two outcomes with those types of snaps. You hit it skinny, trying to kick it too hard, and it falls into that skinny side pocket, or you belly the footy and it goes high in the sky and you've got plenty of time to scramble. I think Paddy Ryder was probably one of the best long-range snaps in the competition back when he was at the Bombers and the Power. He could snap them from almost 50 metres out, but not many others can.
A prodigious hoof on him. Big Paddy Ryder. Dogs with the clearance again. Orgel drives it deep. Sard thought about it. And then he thought Darcy came across the mark illegally. Moves it on to Warburton. Shepherd and Swans product. Across the centre square. Now the ball in the hands of Charlson. 12th disposal for Harry Charlson. Kicked a terrific goal earlier in the game as well. Cutting through the traffic in the second term.
Love this build-up from Carlton.
Patient, intelligent, measured football. Lucas Cambriale out wide was looking for Hudson O'Keefe. Couldn't find him. It's out of play. Gives us the chance to check in boundary side with Drew Jones.
Boys, bad news for Latham Vandermeer. So he's hurt his hamstring. He's out for the rest of the game. So the second AFL-listed Bulldog to hurt themselves during this fixture. He's played a couple of AFL games this season. Played against the Dockers a couple of weeks ago for the Dogs, but he's out for the rest of the game, hamstring.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. He's had a few hamstring injuries over the journey too. Lath Vandermeer.
Looks a real likely type for a period there, didn't he? In the absence of Wakeman, he's plays with plenty of energy, but just couldn't quite remain in the team once Wakeman and West were both back together. And another free kick against Big May to Reedy in the ruck. He's a specimen, Reedy. I mean, don't know much about him, but he's got a long career ahead of him. Even as a backup Goldie, there's a spot for him on most teams as the #1 backup.
Yeah, players with his genuine size don't come around too often, so there's always a spot or a role for them, whether it's in the AFL or in the VFL programs.
Going to give this a real whack from close to the 50, Liam Reedy. It's there. Gee, it wasn't convincing. They all rushed toward it as if it was going to fall short. And Liam Reedy measured it up nicely. And the Blues get their first of the second half.
Nice finish from the big guy. He would set the tone in the gym too, I reckon. He's an absolute monster of a man. And that was a good finish from him. He's been a little bit too physical in the ruck. May's been okay around the ground, taking a couple of marks, but just clearly in these one-on-one ball-up situations. I think ball-ups in particular, Goldie, you're best to speak on this, is where the true dominance can shine.
Yeah, it's also where the technique can really show out as well when you're allowed to get your feet set, get that good strong position, and to get a ruck free kick and a goal from it, that's a real psychological blow that I know a lot of rucks are looking to deal to their opponents.
Did you prefer throw-ins, ball-ups or centre bounces?
Oh, probably my peak, I probably prefer the centre bounces. I was more of a jumping ruck.
Liam Reedy, just his 4th goal of the season, first year in Blues colours. Drafted the Freo out of Frankston's VFL program, and now a little bit of a scrap. So Oscar Baker is involved. Doesn't look like Jordan Boyd is, which is disappointing for that continuing narrative. Taj Logan's in the scrap as well. As they separate, get reacquainted once more. Carlton by 16 points. They need to win to play finals. They are on track at the moment. If they drop this game as they did last week to St Kilda, last week it just dropped them outside the 10 momentarily. It'll drop them outside the 10 for good if they do it this week.
I like what the Blues have done with Walker today. He's played half forward since quarter time, and it just gives him that idea of what it takes to play high half forward, because it's very likely at AFL level he's going to have to play a different position early in his career.
So Sam Darcy on screen watching on in the Bulldogs coaching box. Kick into the centre from Smith. He's bashed away, and the Blues are lining up. Holland's away to Warburton. Warburton inside 50 finds Howard, who kicked 2 to this end in the first term. Called the play on. Kicks to the pocket. He was looking for Ison. Bramble fisted it toward the boundary line and found the safety.
It's always harsh when a player, it's almost a body language thing where the umpire calls play on, because technically suggests he hasn't really stepped off his line at all. He's only really moved 1 foot, but it does look like the player's keen to play on. So the chance gone begging for the Blues.
O'Keefe, Ben Campriali sees parted for him, but he couldn't screw the kick back.
Would just love to see him go back and just have a shot and slow the game down and get that control back for Carlton.
Yeah, they've looked really dominant, the Blues, when they've been able to control the game, take uncontested marks. I mean, they're not going slow when they're taking these uncontested marks. They're actually in control of the game, and at any time they choose, they can go back and go fast with a handball receive.
It's been the pattern that the Dogs have kicked the first in every quarter so far. The Blues have then controlled the contest. Long entry toward Walker and Ison. Walker does his best to keep it alive. It's out of play. The 8 disposals for Cody Walker so far, coming off 29 and a goal last week.
He's quite different to his dad, even going to play different roles, you'd imagine. His dad, Andrew, was very versatile, could play wing and half back, go forward and take big speckies, but Cody's looks like more of a ready-made midfielder to me.
Locked up again. I saw his shiftiness at stoppage last week too.
Yeah.
From Cody Walker. That goal in the second quarter against the Saints. He's just lurking out the back of this one. Kick to full forward. He's knocked up in the air by Cleary and walked across by Buslinger.
Looks like he's got plenty of grunt as well around the footy. Going to be able to play games that are highly contested and have 7 or 8 tackles, 7 or 8 clearances, those types of games where you're not just relying on the ball on the outside.
Cooper Craig Peters for the Bulldogs. Looks defensively for Gardner. It's an unconvincing kick out wide, but it finds Bramble. He shoots it up the line, and McNeil had a good piece of it before Holland's knocked it out of his hands.
Up to 19 now for McNeil. Love this control as well. Able to just take a little bit of ground, not really presenting any risk with ball in hand.
Here's Tom McGuan. We saw Dad Mick watching on a bit earlier. Long left foot kick to half forward. Nice pluck from Walker over the back of the pack. Wanted to move it quickly and couldn't find anything inside 50.
Yeah, got excited. A bit more feedback for him too. And just got a little bit excited there. Walker, Zach Walker, kicked a nice goal earlier in the game, but played on. Didn't have a lot ahead of the game anyway, so probably ill-advised.
Moyer's kick straight down the throat of Cleary. Now Orgel probably beyond him from here.
And we have to be creative because
Walker's screaming for it, about 20 out.
He's either got to make a decision in his own mind of, I'm genuinely confident I've got the distance, or I need to set this ball up at the top of the goal square.
And this is the kick we saw from Logan in a really similar spot in that second term where he was betwixt and between. So the captain from 51. It's not a convincing ball flight whatsoever. Scooped up by Howard. McGuan throws his boot at it. Billings goes with the bicycle over his head and it's slapped through for a rush behind.
Next goal's a big one. Still got plenty of time to go in this third term, but goal to the Blues. This really stretches this margin back out, and if that's the margin we get to at three-quarter time, it probably snuffs out a lot of the hope that the Dogs might have had and Coburg have in the same breath. But goal to the Dogs gives them a big chance.
Walker elevated, couldn't mark. Cleary out the back. Howard had the kick run down by Fogarty, who goes and picks it up. Turned it over by hand, though. Muratore comes away with it. Now McGuan. What can he find inside 50? Walker was his target. Reinhold slides in, taken high.
A little bit unlucky there by Billings.
Yeah, not sure what option Jack Billings had in the end. Will Reinhold from Temora, southern New South Wales. Kicks long down the line. Free kick.
Oh, for a block.
And it is coming to JJ's man, Big Hawk.
I don't think we've seen him since the first quarter.
He kicked 3 goals and was marking everything that came near him.
That was his 7th disposal. I feel like we'll have to check. He had most of that in the first quarter.
Certainly had the 3 snags in the opening term. Tucker, deep entry. Really sticky hands from Farah.
Yeah, great mark. Great contested mark there. Standing shoulder to shoulder. We had a great view of the ball in and the contest. Thought he needed to push a little bit harder through his legs, but he just trusted those hands and was able to raise up and just clunk that footy.
Just on okay. If he had 4 of his 7 in that opening term, including the 3 goals. Here is Liam Farah. 18 goals on the season. Consistent contributor for this Carlton VFL side. He's left that one skinny. $19 or 18 points. The margin is restored. So 3 straight kicks. 1-4 to 1-1 in this term, as you see on screen. McGuan, he's been busy in this quarter. We'll get another look at it here. The Western Jets kicks long down the line. Walker the target. Billings ended up having to soccer it forward. All in dispute. Sard pounces on the loose footy. Kicks to the top of the defensive 50. Turned over. Ison had to go into battle for the footy for the Blues. It is won back, though, by Lucas Campriali. Ison was there to provide the outlet. Moyer kicks to the front point of the square. Hanging onto it is Tucker. Striding past Warburton. Jabs it inside the 50. And hitting up hard again is Farah. Cody Walker thought that might have been kicked in his direction again.
Yeah, he doesn't hide his emotions, a young man, but it all starts with the ice and release to Moyer. That's what the Dogs haven't been able to do. Find that kick release. Moyer aggressively decides to go fast again, and the Blues get a very, very nice shot at goal from directly in front.
Hasn't been able to finish his work so far. Liam Farah, 35 out, directly in front. He flushes it. And Carlton again build a 4-goal break.
That's the first time that Carlton have been able to find that release kick to Moira as well, which seemed like they were doing it all the time that first half. It was only the first opportunity they really had to hit that kick and settle the game down a bit.
Yeah, beautiful passage of play from them. Moyer's kick, I mean, there's an element of risk there, but you've got to be able to take those kicks, trust in your skill execution, which he did, and it resulted in a really, really nice opportunity for Farah, which he was able to take, and that was the key goal we spoke about, which team was going to be able to get it. All of a sudden, we're out to 4 goals, and there might be more.
Could be more to come for the Blues. Ben Cambriali certainly thinking that, as is Flynn Young. And this would be a testing distance for Flynn Young.
I think he'll fancy himself. He was wasteful last week.
1 goal 4.
And he's been a little bit wasteful again today. His chances haven't been laydowns, but he's kicked a couple of behinds only. Been busy. I like him as a player. I think he's got this within him. Just whether he can steady himself and not overkick the footy.
18 goals on the season for Flynn Young. From right on the 50, it's a good-looking kick, and it just drifts away to the left late. He throws the head back in frustration.
He's 1 goal 7 across his past 7 days of footy.
Yep. A few that are through the grasp of Flynn Young.
He seems like the kind of player, though, who thinks it's 8 shots on goal, not 1 goal 7.
Yeah, and that's the probably the right way to look at it, isn't it? But I guess goal kicking is so crucial. We overlook it all the time.
Billings off the pack. Free kick for some high contacts. Is it tackle laid by Logan Prout?
Josh Tracy spoke interestingly about goal kicking Friday night. He sort of said, I'm not defined by my goal kicking. I thought to myself, well, tell you what, if you keep kicking inaccurately, you will be.
Baker to full forward. Harvey across the pack. Saad there mopping things up again for the Blues. Driving it off half-back is Logan. Bustlinger puts his fist through it to bring it down to the front for the Dogs. Craig Peters just kept the legs moving in the tackle. And then a nice touch kick from Smith. Billings had Smith, who continued to move toward goal. And Connor Smith takes the mark. 15 on the season. This one to try and get it back to 19 points.
Yeah, they need this one. Deep pockets here at Mission Whitten Oval. So, the easiest place to slot goals from the pockets. He's not hard up on the boundary, but this will take a nice finish, and they do need it.
So Carlton nearly with a game-high lead. Biggest lead they had was 26. Connor Smith to cut back into that. That's a terrific set shot. Executed perfectly. And the Dogs stay in touch.
The Dogs are just playing their role just to add to the drama, just to keep it within arm's reach.
It's a good finish. He's involved in the link-up. Just floated forward and found himself in a little bit of space once again. So a couple of times in this quarter, the Blues defensively have just fallen asleep. It's cost them a couple of goals. It's cost them both their goals in this quarter, one to Murator and one to Smith. So there's life.
Indeed there is. Carlton, of course, a win. They will play finals, a loss, and they will miss out. And it will open the door for Coburg. At the moment, things aren't breaking the way of the Lions, looking for their first finals appearance in quite some time. Late in this third term. Bustlinger fumbles, allows Moyer in. Moyer from right at the top of the 50. Kicks deep, O'Keefe used the body illegally.
He's a little bit stiff there. I reckon the free kick's there, but the ball didn't have enough flight on it. If it was kicked up a bit higher, he would have been had time to get in and use his hip rather than having to use his hands because the ball was coming in so quick. It was almost the perfect kick to advantage. You see there on the replay, doesn't have time to get in underneath and use his legs to shift his opponent.
He just did his work a little bit later. His first mark, he did the early work, which got that space. This time he did it late, which cost him.
Just on the live ladder as well, Tassie did win that game against the Giants, so GWS missed out on finals. It means Frankston will make the wildcard finals. So well done to the Dollies.
The Dolphins.
Jackson Kornberg and the crew, they'll be very happy. And it means that Coburg is the spot in jeopardy at the mercy of the Blues. So Carlton win, they will play finals, Coburg won't. Footscray to come back here, and Coburg will slide into the top 10, and the Blues will miss out. McGuan. It's a well-weighted kick to the edge of the 50, and Prout knocked it away from Billings.
Eagerly awaiting that Frankston result. I'm a Dolphins alumni. I played one game for the Dolphins in the VFL reserves.
Nice. What number did you wear? Not the number 81.
I do know that I kicked the first goal of the game and Port Melbourne kicked the next 30. We had
so that went well.
Assistant coaches playing for us in the VFL reserves at Frankston.
They're going a little bit better these days. Signed the big sponsorship deal a couple of weeks ago.
Saw that. Good on them.
Which, absolutely. Great stuff for one of our standalone clubs in this competition.
Yep.
So important to the health of the VFL long term. Werribee, of course, inside that mix. Port Melbourne will make finals this year. Willie will make finals, and then Frankston are short of their spot. Maybe Coburg as well. As three-quarter time is reached at Whitten Oval, and the Blues playing for their finals lives. They are doing enough with a quarter to play, trying to book.
Once you kick that ball 15 metres ahead, it gives you the chance as the kicker to then go back and get it from a handball receive perspective. At any stage you want to, you can go fast again.
So final term underway. The Blues are doing the business at this stage. They've got a final quarter to take care of and a 19-point lead that they head into it with. Moyer with an early touch here. Turns it over. Big Caleb May just whacks the handball out wide. Some good leverage on that. Gallagher down the line, and May can't hang on to the mark. Slaps the hands together in frustration. Through the Sydney Swans Academy before he made his way to West Adelaide in the SANFL. Plucked out of there in the mid-season draft halfway through this year. West Adelaide's loss, certainly Footscray's gain. Reedy got upended as he tried to get the kick away. Fantastic chase and tackle from Cooper Craig Peters. Had a huge game last week. Craig Peters, of course, Big V representative this year as well against the SANFL. 35 touches, 11 clearances, 13 inside 50s and 6 intercepts last week.
He's backed up with 24 and 10 clearances today already.
He's an A-grader at this level, that's for sure. May stabs his kick down the line, and Prout reaches in on Billings and fists that one out of play.
Great defence right in front of the interchange there for Carlton. I'll be thrilled with that. That's ruthless.
Good spot to do it.
Yep, that's being absolutely ruthless defensively, and something they've also improved upon under Josh Fraser as he's been in charge of the whole club.
Look at Hollands burst through. Handball away to Logan. Hollands continued to run. Logan kicks deep. Moyer out the back.
Yeah, got done.
There's a push in the marking contest. Certainly looked that way.
Yeah, same thing. It was the same as the O'Keefe one in the previous quarter. Just opted to use his hands rather than either getting in and using his hip and backside, or even jumping up on that pack and trying to take a big mark.
Well, a little hand fake there from Velpeed. He went to ground after he sold the dummy. And Ison smashes it inside 50, but it's going to have to come back to two jumpers Boyd. And we'll take the free. This is probably about the range that he kicked the goal from in that second term. He may not have quite as much assistance this time. Just strolling through the centre square, kicked at 65 and got a miracle bounce. Somehow it wasn't touched by about 6 players sprawling back there trying to get a hand on it. Adam Sard right on halfway on the Gordon Street side, the Doug Hawkins wing. Someone's going to need to sort that car alarm out. That's not ideal.
Yeah, let's not have that go for the next 20 minutes.
Had the fire alarm going off at a GWS game a couple of weeks ago. That lasted for about 15 minutes.
The Crows got kicked out of their hotel in Perth on Friday
yes.
with similar issues.
That's real road trip stuff, isn't it? When the home team arranges some dodgy food or something to be served.
Expect to see that more in Mexico with the World Cup than you would.
Feels like a real mid-90s basketball conspiracy, that one. The flu game from Michael Jordan. Lockie Fogarty kicks deep. Good tackle from Hollands to wrap up Bramble. May and Reedy. Reedy down to Hollands. 22 now, 23 for Ollie Hollands, in fact. Gang tackle there. Laird Ramshaw in on the tackle. Fantastic name, that. Laird Ramshaw.
It is, isn't it?
Sounds like a UK politician or something. Like it could be the health minister for Andy Burnham, Laird Ramshaw.
Let's not get political if we can help it. Joel.
And you're taking away the coolness of the name too by that
apologies,
comparison.
Laird. Apologies. Cody Walker away to Prout, who curls that one home. Logan Prout with a tricky finish. He just hoisted it into the breeze and let Mother Nature do its work from there.
And it did. It was just found a way to pick up. It's almost like that footy picked up more curl and bend the further it went. It was really good work in traffic from Cody Walker, the best thing we've seen him do today. And as that ball was dipping, it picked up a little bit more curve. Just found its way inside that right-hand goal post. So give us a view of the celebration. You've got to work it with your body, and he did. And Sprout gets the all-important first goal of this last term.
It's been an impressive start for this quarterback, Carlton. Really professional. They've just dominated field position, controlled the game, and to get the reward for the goal just makes it a little bit easier for themselves.
Gives them a bit of breathing room. 25 points, that Blues lead. Had it to that late in the third. 26 points, their biggest lead of the day, and that was back in the opening quarter when they kicked 5 goals to 1. Clearance for McNeil. Away to Billings, and Boyd intercepts for the Blues. Jordan Boyd out of contract at the end of the season. Kicks up the line. Hollands had a hand on it in the pack. Sprawling out after it went Corrigan. Charlson attacked the footy with some vigour. Bramble trying to force it back the other way along with McGuan. Dogs will take possession. Fred Velpe knocks a neat little kick out wide. Smith can spin it in his hands as he looks for an option down the wing. Boyd cuts across. He's made a couple of telling interventions today defensively.
It's been good. The offensive stuff hasn't really been there for him. Only 13 disposals, 12 of those kicks. He's got that fortuitous goal to his name, but he's been rock solid defensively, which is important even for the rebounding defenders.
Tucker at the coalface for the Blues. Disposal number 19 for him. Rolls his kick up the wing. McNeil back the other way for the Dogs. Oh, and that's a high tackle. Liam Farah just slipping up in the tackle on Bramble.
I think his reaction gave away that he'd done something wrong as well.
Yeah, there's a look of resignation there. 1 goal, 2 for Farah so far today. Kick 10 for Diamond Creek in the Northern League earlier in the season. May. Now the Dogs work as a half forward. Kick to full forward. It'll float over the back from Billings. And it'll miss to the right. Walker was there, but had a bit too much carry on it. So 4 kicks the margin. Saad, 21 disposals. 15 kicks among his afternoon. Blues trying to win their way through to the postseason. Cody Walker along the boundary line, kept it in somehow. And is pinged for holding the ball, and then
should be 50.
Zach Walker's been hit in the face by the footy.
I think the umpire missed that.
Walker rolls on, the set-up kick. The tall targets are there. Floating in from the back was Howard. Saad dashes away.
Love that control from Saad too. In years gone by, he would just blast that footy away. So clearly that's the coaching adjustment we've seen across the season.
Walker back to Sammartino. Prout, the last goal kicker in the game. Collins has been really good again for the Blues. Out wide to Dane Harvey. Reedy just lumbering after the footy, got caught on the back foot. Ben Campriali had it, took possession, tackled, in trouble.
Yeah, had to be, went to ground, decided to go to ground and couldn't get rid of the ball, so had to be gone.
Oh, big fly from Boyd over the top of Darcy. Rode him into the grass.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a free kick. He's a tall step ladder, but he was nowhere near the footy, Boyd.
And then a low entry. And Jack Billings marks low down. 20 disposals, 2 goals, 1 for Billings.
I feel like they need this one, Goldie. If they've got any chance for them and for the Burgers, they've got to see this one go sailing through.
And he's probably the person you want the ball in his hand of too, I reckon.
One of their leaders for this Footscray team. They try to mount a comeback. Billings strikes it from right on the 50. Won't have the journey. Slapped through. So a couple of behinds to start this term.
Charlton to bring this footy back in. He's only at the 13, but I've really loved his game. Shows plenty as a dashing defender. Just put the slows on him there perfectly.
Yeah,
that was not one of his best.
Completely. Valpede, Billings, Cooper Craig Peters. Through a couple of tackles, he found some space. Ratore tight to the boundary line. Darcy!
Well, I'm not going to say much more about Charlton. I like him, but I don't want to put the slows on him again. 8 marks for Darcy. He's played a good game, really good game.
And Will Darcy converts the opportunity. And Footscray again. Just remain within arm's length.
So you just wanted this game to get a bit tighter than JJ.
Full disclosure, clearly Will, like Sam, has the left and right ability at 200 and whatever he is, 205. He's just a little bit shorter than brother Sam, but he's incredibly tall, and I was beginning to think he was a left footer because he's been able to take a mark on the lead and roll into that left foot 2 or 3 times today. Clearly, from his set shots, he likes to use the right as well.
You might have spotted him a few there. He listed at 198.
There's no chance he's 198.
He feels a bit bigger than that.
Oh, there's no chance.
So he
I'm
might
not on that train with you. He doesn't look anywhere near like his brother.
I saw him, we need the vision at 3/4 time. He doesn't look too far off brother Sam to me.
Prout coming off half-back. Blues still in possession of that 9th spot.
Is Sam 199 these days, is he?
Don't know whether the injuries have maybe just chopped a little bit off the top line for Sam.
I'm going to make it my mission. I know someone down at the Dogs. I'm going to find out exactly how tall he is. There's no chance he's 198.
So there's our live ladder. Carlton doing enough at the moment. Footscray can't play finals no matter what. They can certainly influence it. Tassie winners earlier. They'll finish in the top 4. Box Hill still to play this afternoon. So too Geelong. So the Cats can't move from top spot. It's going to be an enthralling final series to see how it all shakes out in the logjam that has been the season. So GWS are going to finish 12th. They could have finished 4th. If they had have won today and things went their way, they could have finished 4th.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's just been a ridiculous end to this VFL season in terms of the flux that those teams have found themselves in.
It's even Essendon yesterday were hoping just to be able to sneak into the wild card position. Now they've got themselves a week off.
Fox Footy's own Bombers. We started that run here on Fox Footy, the 4 straight within the month. Feels like Cam Joyce should be giving us at least some kind of credit, as Hudson O'Keefe can't keep that one in. Can you make sure that they acknowledge our contribution at some point during the week out at the hangar, Goldie?
I can almost certainly guarantee he won't.
We had Nick Cox kicking 7 and all sorts of things.
Yeah, we were playing blokes back into form everywhere, left, right and centre. They've gone on with it.
If it comes up, I'll give you guys credit.
Thank you, Goldie. Charlton, hand pass on the bounce. Fogarty, Buslinger, back with some courage as he got hacked by Hock.
Yeah, it was late. Lucky he didn't get a piece of his jaw or head with that one.
He shanked the kick outside the defensive 50. Tumbles and rolls its way through to Sard. Young. Charlton fell over. Still in Blues' hands. Fogarty, Sard, backpedal, stop, prop, delivery through the hands again of Warburton. They're all dropping them. Something in the water down at that end of the ground. Fogarty, Warburton, Hollands to finish cleanly. Beautifully done. And he puts the exclamation mark on his day. Does Ollie Hollands?
He does indeed. He was the right one at the right time. Right footer, round the corner, classy finisher, and he was able to do the job. He knew it straight away. So it was clean hands from Fogarty. Just needed the right player in the right spot, and Hollands was probably the pick of the bunch. And up to 25 disposals, his first goal in the game. 6 clearances as well, played predominantly as an inside mid, and has been one of Carlton's best players.
Another really strong showing for him. Of course, a couple of questions about his future. Some reports that North Melbourne had met with him. Alistair Clarkson was asked about that on Thursday. He certainly didn't say no. There was a real confirm nor deny answer. The Rouge trying to improve their list, and Ollie Hollands could be a trade target at year's end. Logan stepping through, kicks inside forward 50. Oh, nice gather from Young, a little bit of fleet of foot, hands it off to Walker, and Cody cruises in. And the Blues surely now have done enough.
You would imagine so, Goldie. If you're at the post office, it might nearly be time, unfortunately.
And it's good to see Cody Walker turning up 3 or 4 times, finally got used and got that goal he's been craving.
Game high lead for the Blues now. It's a beautiful bit of footwork from Flynn Young to gather and spin his way through the traffic there.
It was, yeah. I like Young. Shows a fair bit. He's got some areas of his game he needs to tidy up. 7 disposals and a goal in the second half for Walker, so sign of maturity. He was a little bit frustrated. Things had not really fallen his way in the first half, but he's been able to stick to his guns and played wing and half forward in this game, and he's going to end up with a decent day at the office.
He would know that there's so many people watching him as well, and there's a bit of pressure on his performance, probably more from himself than anyone externally, to try and validate the hype.
You'd like to think that's, you know, your role as a dad that's been there and done that. A high draft pick himself. I think he was pick 2, Andrew Walker, from memory. So almost just from a temperamental perspective, just reminding him this is not going to be easy. You're going to have days like this where it's incredibly difficult. Again, there, that ball just jumps off your chest. You know, next weekend, that ball probably sticks, because that's the game. Sometimes you get fortunate, and sometimes you have days where it's a lot tougher, and you just got to continue to work your way through it. And
that's why these games are so important for him to play and not put him in cotton wool for the rest of the season. He knows he's going to get drafted, so it's all about learning and getting ready for next year.
Yeah, so he's played more VFL games than a lot. So this is his 6th game for the season, in addition to his Talent League commitments, and then, of course, Vic Metro as well that he played at the championships. Would you keep playing him through the finals, Goldie?
I would. It's just a great learning opportunity for him. You know, you want him to have experienced everything, feel like it's just natural for him, and he's got that opportunity now to play finals footy, which is where Carlton want to be, and it just gets him ready for his debut next year.
Ben Campriali, Charleston on the back foot, had the kick smothered. Tucker, Prowse through the middle. Marked by Corrigan, of course. These two teams in action at AFL level later on as part of your Sunday ticket on Fox. GWS West Coast we'll be sending you to very shortly for the first men's game of the day. Kick around the body. Farah attacks it. He's attacked by Gardner. A good physical stoush between those two late in the piece.
I wholeheartedly agree with Goldie. Continue to play him, but it won't take much of a knock or a bump or a limp for me to say I've seen enough.
I just think it's just the advantage of being a father-son. He knows he's probably going to end up at Carlton. He can start learning their system, and when he comes in next year, it's all the same as it already is.
Muratori kicks inside forward 50. Deep entry. Howard tries to create some space. Harvey drags it underneath Darcy. Big Will spanning to Jordan Boyd. Howard over the shoulder. He sneaks that one in. A late goal for the Dogs at home.
Nice finish from Howard, able to just keep his feet aligned and do the job. So, been a quiet day for him. Just the 7 disposals and a goal, but it was good work. Able to spin that body around and do the job. And I tell you what, if Will Darcy gets to where I think he's going to get to, then good luck with those two.
It would be nice if he was over 200 centimetres though. Just a bit under it doesn't
I've just
help.
had the confirmation. Well, not confirmation, but the dogs tell me he's still growing. So no number.
How do they know that?
No number attached to that. I think he gets growing pains.
Sounds highly anecdotal. He's got some tricks though, doesn't he?
He does. Well, I mean, I didn't see Sam at 16, but I imagine this is what it looked like. He does similar things. He presents at the ball, he kicks it on his left foot, he's got great balance. He mightn't be the same player, but he doesn't need to be because Sam is a freak of the competition. If he can be 50-60% of the player Sam is, all of a sudden you've got two very unique guys in the same forward line.
Warburton kicks deep, of course. Aaron Norton up there as well. They've added Cody Waitman back into the mix late in the season. The Dogs see a couple of those stars on Fox Footy later this afternoon.
It should put Luke into the Hall of Fame at the Dogs if he's not in there. That type of contribution to the footy club.
Then you continue to contribute easy.
Rolls on, Reinhold takes the mark. Knocks it back to Sard on the bounce.
A little bit of fire in the belly from him as well, which we know Sam's got.
Tucker spins on a dime, moves it on to Walker. Bit of dash from Cody, drives it deep. Farah couldn't hang on, and Corrigan's shoved out by Bustlinger.
Just needed to use the off arm. Farah there, the right arm to halt the momentum of that Dogs defender, and he would have been able to come back and take a nice, easy. Would have been a contested mark, but if he had have done his work and used that off arm, it would have been pretty simple for him.
O'Keefe controls it down. Walker bursting through. That was impressive stuff at the stoppage. Prout jabs it inside 50. And the slips catch taken by Darcy Fogarty.
He'll only just get the journey, my man Fox. He's a short kick.
Real sort of jam jar operator.
He is. He is. Spent some time with him at the Cats, and he's one of my favourites. He's a very, very good young man. Plays the game the right way and spends his time around the footy club the right way as well.
So Lockie Fogarty on the way in. How is the kick? Not quite.
You weren't wrong. It didn't clear the fences that well, did it?
No, He's, I think he can handball. He's one of the rare players that can handball further than he can kick.
Very different to his namesake in the competition.
Very.
Darcy at Adelaide, who could probably kick about the length of Whitten Oval.
I don't think Darcy knows handballing's part of the game.
No. Why would you?
Oh, he's
when you
gun
kick it
barrel
like him.
straight. Always has been.
Freak.
From the day he walked through the doors at the Crows, he's always been gun barrel.
Here is Lockie Fogarty, who he's not doesn't have the same weapon supplier. If Darcy Fogarty's gun barrel, then Lockie Fogarty he's not operating with the same type of equipment. Halfback Velpeed for the Dogs. The premiership defence is going to come to an end today, no matter what. Ogle took the mark, had it knocked out of his hands as he wheeled around a kick, so that'll be 50. Of course, so much change. They've had so many injuries throughout the course of the season as well, the Dogs, which hasn't helped their case at VFL level. They put some good form together over their last 6 weeks. Gone 4-2 in that span. Walker comes bundling out after the ball. He's tackled by Boyd.
Boyd's got him in a headlock.
Caught holding the ball. Might have ripped the headband off as well for the trouble.
I need to get this. So we're talking about the ruckman and running bounces earlier. I've found the top 2. Well, Dean Cox had 121. He's the benchmark.
Solid.
In second place, Tim English from the Dogs with 32. And Brodie Grundy has 53 career running bounces. 53.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable number.
That's a big lead for Dean Cox, though, isn't it? That just sort of
That's
shows.
No one's catching him from
No.
9.
And I reckon a lot of them were multiple bounces
Yeah.
in an effort as well by Dean Cox. You just have pictures of him running down the wing, taking 2 or 3 bounces.
Different game, Goldie. No pressure.
Yeah,
Everyone
the
was
chase
spread
pressure
out.
wasn't like that.
Of course, Dean Cox will be... You might have to go and ask him about that when you see him later today, Goldie, at the MCG. You'll be there with the Bombers. His Swans taking on your team. Holland's inside.
I think he may have
steps it out.
a few more important things to worry about than
ask
chatting
him.
about
I
the
wouldn't
bounces.
have
But
thought
if I get a chance to, I will
can't-
chat running bounces with him, which would be a tough one to negotiate, I reckon.
Just can't imagine what they would be if they were more important. Ashton Moyer's been paid the free kick after Bustlinger was adjudged to have not attempted to keep that one in, which is probably fair enough. Moyer, who can go right or left. He's going to swing this around the corner from tight angle. He just showcases his skills there, Ashton Moyer. He can do things that few others can. And he finishes nicely to give the Blues a 5-goal lead late in the piece.
Great skill to have, isn't it? Aren't that many players that are as equally comfortable right and left. There's a lot of players who are really competent on their left side or their non-preferred side, Goldie, but to be able to just naturally go right or left, you know, in terms of Josh Kelly, I'm happy to kick right foot set shots, left foot set shots. It doesn't really matter. It's quite a remarkable skill.
Yeah, he looks so natural on either side. Doesn't look forced at all.
Of course, involved in that collision earlier with Nick Caulfield. Caulfield has left the game. It was in the opening term where Moyer arrived at the footy at the same time, so it'll definitely come under scrutiny of match review in coming days.
And there will be some nerves, I think, given the fact that Caulfield didn't come back on. Like, he should be fine, but there will be some nerves for him over the next 24 hours.
Yeah, it'll be a nervous wait for young Ashton Moyer and the Blues, that's for sure, as they venture into the wildcard finals. Likely they end up playing Williamstown next week, so Sydney and Frankston is the 7v10. Williamstown, Carlton, the 8v9.
Are they neutral venues or are they the venue of the host team?
Be the venue of the host team, I believe. AFL will follow suit.
Not sure how the neutral venue would work there, JJ.
Well, I thought maybe you just bring both wildcards maybe to Marvel Stadium or Arden Street, perhaps.
Arden Street,
It'd be stiff on the Swans, but
Whitten Oval.
anywhere.
Drew's a fan of Whitten Oval, as we are.
It is this is actually the VFL. I know we treat the AFL like it's the VFL and it's Victorian-centric from time to time, but this is the actual VFL. So wouldn't have surprised me if they decided to, from an attendance perspective, try and play both wildcard games together.
Magnificent scenery, view back across the western suburbs of inner Melbourne.
Play them both in Sydney if you like.
Yep, tramway.
Absolutely.
Bit of tramway action.
No good for us. We can't see the tramway.
The scissor list, yeah, just hope the sun's not out. Hope it's an overcast day at tramway, for God's sake. Lockie McNeil wants to go after Darcy Tucker. Those two will have shared the field a few times at AFL level as well. Fogarty out wide. The Blues cruising toward a finals spot. Late season charge from Carlton. They're going to get there having won 5 of their last 6. And they will get into finals in 9th spot as Moyer rises up. And he can just put the cherry on the cake.
Interesting player, isn't he? We've talked about the skill set by foot, but I mean, what type of forward is he? He's a sort of medium-sized forward who likes to do his work on the move, taking marks. That's a really good example of it, but he's got to continue to improve the work rate and particularly the defensive side of his game.
Ashton Moyer kicked the last. And can't add another. Hits the post on the way through. So 31 points is the Blues lead. Right back at the start of the season, they played Williamstown, an absolute thriller. They won that one or lost that by 5 points, Carlton, so maybe a repeat of their first game of the season next week. Steaming through there was Orgel. Tackle late on Howard. Footscray. Craig Peters has just continued to work all afternoon. Off to Gallagher. Gallagher kicks to full forward. Rising up there was Ramshaw. Couldn't take the mark, and Carlton can waltz it out again. And an assured performance from the Blues, led by 19 at quarter time, 15 at half time, 19 at three-quarter time. They've kicked 4 goals to 2 in this final term to close it out in style after they let last week slip through their grasp against the Saints. They won't do the same for a second week in a row. They'll be hoping that their AFL side can do the same this afternoon and lock up a final spot against the Dogs. And Carlton will take winning form into the postseason. The Blues win 5 of their last 6 to book their place in the finals and defeat the reigning premiers by 31 points and bring Footscray's season to an end, and with it, that of Coburg, who will not feature in the finals. And the Blues will progress to the postseason, and they'll take some good form in.
They will indeed. Been impressive. A bit of a slip up last week, but the conditions were dreadful, and you give them a pass for that. But I've seen them 3 or 4 times in the back end of the season, and like the AFL program, we'll see a little bit later on, they've been very, very impressive with their improved game style.
31-point win. Let's get some reaction from the Blues with Drew.
Thank you, Joel. Ollie Hollins with me.